So WWE just exposed itself in the worst way possible. A WWE Unreal Season 2 is officially released, and the reception is less than stellar. Season 1 certainly benefited from a look at the behind-the-scenes landscape at WWE, but when it comes to Season 2, the novelty is officially worn off. Season 2 has done a disservice to WWE, as it's exposed WWE's incompetence at the highest level, and fans are collectively baffled at how WWE approved of a series that exposed this utter incompetence. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Prelude to Unreal. The central criticism of WWE Unreal is that it goes too far. Unreal shatters kayfabe like never before, but the interesting thing about this is that it isn't the first time in which WWE have been willing to shatter kayfabe in return for content. Beyond the Mat in the late 90s exposed the inner workings of WWE, and whilst WWE did try to distance themselves from the acclaimed documentary, even at one point Vince McMahon didn't want the documentary to air, it was one of the most popular wrestling documentaries of all time, so it was hard to avoid. In the WWE Network era, WWE produced countless documentaries that focused on the behind-the-scenes picture in WWE. Shows such as WWE 24 were highly regarded, but these documentaries mainly focused on specific wrestlers, and we didn't get to see inside the WWE creative department. These documentaries definitely benefited from the wrestler in question, as fans learned more about them as human beings and what motivates them as pro wrestlers. It's just a shame that WWE has moved away from these kinds of documentaries, but there's no denying that WWE have been breaking kayfabe in the form of documentaries way before WWE Unreal debuted on Netflix. So what's the issue? Why is the show so problematic? Well, there are a number of crucial reasons why fans and critics resent the show to such an extent. Oh, you didn't know? WWE Unreal Season 2 exposes a number of WWE names for being totally incompetent at their job. Thankfully, the wrestlers featured in the show mostly come across extremely well, even when they show things going wrong for names such as Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. The names come across as genuine and relatable, so the show definitely deserves some credit in that department. Where the show completely fails is when writers and producers are featured. Road Dogg, who many fans know for his work in DX, has been a top writer in the company for over a decade. Back in 2016 and 2017, he was head writer for SmackDown, and he can often be found arguing with fans on social media as fans wanted to know why the product was underwhelming, and fans were quick to share photos of half-empty arenas. Road Dogg was also the head writer for SmackDown last year, a time period in which fans absolutely loathed the SmackDown product. The show was uninspiring, flat, and felt copy and pasted. Road Dogg is heavily featured in WWE Unreal 2, and he comes across so unbelievably bad that fans are calling him to be replaced. In one episode of the show, Road Dogg couldn't give Triple H an answer when he asked who Chelsea Green would work with if she took back the women's US title from Zelina Vega last year. He literally responded with, "I don't know." WWE is supposed to be the most creative, successful pro wrestling company in the world, and they're giving a man that has zero ideas the keys to the kingdom. Road Dogg is also heavily featured in the episode focused on R-Truth, and Triple H was baffled by R-Truth's pitch to have Truth have his head shaved. The DOGG would then admit that he's been hesitant to pitch, as in his words, everything is horrible and the shit. It's concerning that WWE left this footage in, as it makes the lead writer of SmackDown look completely ridiculous. It's hardly a surprise that fans are calling for a change in leadership when it comes to that particular show. The Truth element of the series was also a total mess, as the idea of turning someone's WWE departure into a documentary is certainly questionable, but there was a ton of gaslighting going on, both from Road Dogg and Triple H. Road Dogg, despite being close personal friends with Truth, admitted that it made perfect business sense to fire him. This was such a tasteless remark. Weirdly, WWE would then cut to names such as Cody Rhodes, who stated that firing such a beloved name is a no-go for the company. Why couldn't Road Dogg or Triple H make a comment like this? Once again, it's the wrestlers who are coming across as having the brains, and it's the writers and producers who look completely heartless. Road Dogg is evidently a name that remains employed due to his established relationship with Triple H, but it's clearly offering nothing new, nothing exciting, and has clearly lost his love for the industry. A change of guard needed. The WWE has numerous names backstage that have been in position for years. For instance, Michael P.S. Hayes produces the majority of WWE main events, but Unreal Season 2 exposed him for having an outdated mindset, and fans are quite rightly calling out a number of his comments for being totally backwards. In one scene, Hayes was seen condemning Naomi for walking out of the company 4 years ago, Bear in mind, since this infamous walkout, Naomi has been world champion for the promotion, so what is the logic of burying a top star? Additionally, the walkout occurred during the old era WWE, so it's not like it made the current regime look bad. If anything, all it did was make WWE have this bizarre power complex over their talent. One specific comment from Hayes that fans are talking about comes when he discusses Chelsea Green. Green has been a firm fan favorite since her WWE return 3 years ago, but for whatever reason, Hayes decided to outright bury her. Chelsea is so entertaining, but she's not built for, nor should she be in the Charlotte Flair role or Tiffany Stratton, because Chelsea's job is to help make those people. Why can't Green be in the main event role? She's as over as a woman Hayes mentioned, so what is even the issue here? Is Hayes claiming that his wrestling ideology is that once a wrestler is hired for a specific role, they can't reach above it? If so, this is a troubling mindset, especially from the man that dominates the production space when it comes to main event level matches and talent. Exciting plans cancelled. One of the more exciting elements of the show focuses on scrap creative plans. These are usually found thanks to eagle-eyed viewers who spot planned matches in the background on whiteboards. The frustrating thing about this is that some of the initial pitches for the calendar year are more exciting than we actually got. Braun Breaker vs Roman Reigns was initially set for SummerSlam. This is a match that everyone wanted, but WWE didn't deliver it. Other matches included Rhea Ripley vs Julia in the Queen of the Ring final, and the return of the Demon Finn Balor vs Dirty Dom at SummerSlam. Now let's be fair, plans change all the time in WWE, but when these scrap matches get fans excited for what could have been, maybe it's a sign that the original pitch was much better. With that being said, the show revealed that numerous pitches are thrown out there and not all of them have any value. Even when discussing Pat McAfee vs Gunther at Backlash 2025, WWE exec Bruce Pritchard outright suggested that McAfee defeat the former world champion. That's right, the part-time color commentator defeating one of the most credible names in the company. What is the logic with this claim? How on earth would Gunther bounce back from being defeated by a commentator? It just made no sense whatsoever. In their minds, it was just a quick shock that would be quickly forgotten. But no, this is Gunther. This would be damaging to his whole character. Two worlds collide. For those fans who don't want to be further exposed to the WWE kayfabe-shattering world of 2026, it's unfortunately unavoidable. On Raw and SmackDown weekly, there are numerous plugs throughout the show for the series, and these plugs come across awkward more than anything. Another flaw is that WWE tends to plug the show after delivering a major angle on TV. This means that WWE will inform the audience that what they've seen is completely fake, and they can find all about this via WWE Unreal. This is insulting as a viewer, and it's impossible to get lost in the magic of pro wrestling, and WWE already had the habit of telling the audiences that the show was scripted before Unreal Season 1 debuted last year. If you're a young viewer who has no idea that WWE is scripted, your reality is completely shattered on a weekly basis, and perhaps for the first time ever, WWE isn't allowing their audience to just be fans. If you're a fan of WWE in 2026, you have to be a fan of all of it. This extends to Unreal, as it's impossible to escape the reminder that WWE is a scripted medium. There was previously an era of pro wrestling where telling a wrestler that their job is fake would lead to a potential altercation. However, WWE is now the ones that like to tell their fans and everyone who will listen that the product is just fake and scripted. This movement could create creative problems years down the line, because what if WWE and TKO want to move away from detailing the inner workings of the promotion? What happens then? Does WWE pretend like they haven't told the audience it's scripted for years? It's going to be incredibly messy, but WWE is far too deep in this world that it's going to be hard to escape from this. So who is the true audience of this show? One of the most baffling things about the series as a whole comes when addressing who the target audience is. Naturally, you would assume that the key demographic is core WWE fans, and those fans that want more content. However, is this really the case? If so, what is the main aim of shattering kayfabe for these fans? The diehard WWE fan who is watching this series likely is active on social media and likely engages in online fan discourse. They probably are fully aware of the inner workings of WWE and are likely actively engaging with dirt sheets. Why produce a series for this type of fan? The type of fan that is watching Unreal is already the type of fan that is already critical of the product when the criticism is valid, so why give this type of fan more ammunition to criticize key figures in the company? It's almost as if WWE wants fans to react in this manner. From their perspective, if they dominate headlines and the talk of the town on social media, then the show is a success. WWE will likely tell the media that this is for new viewers, but that doesn't also make sense either. Not a single rational person is going to watch a behind-the-scenes documentary about an art form that they aren't even a fan of. It's like somebody watching a behind-the-scenes documentary of a movie they've never even watched before, so it just makes little sense. The show has led to a surge of interest in the product. It's not led to an increase of ratings for Raw or SmackDown, so again, what's the point? WWE is shattering kayfabe in favor of what? Patting themselves on the back? Unfortunately, Season 3 has been commissioned and will drop later this year. Hopefully the new series focuses on the triumphs of the talent themselves rather than exposing the WWE creative team for their bizarre and outdated mindset. What do you guys think of WWE Unreal? Did WWE just expose themselves? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.